pagtutulungan, walang kupas na kaugalian. Nagtagatibay, sinasabuhay, galak sa puso ay walang kapantay. Panahon na naman ang brigada, pabigisin lakas at diwa. Tara na, brigada na! Brigada Eskwela, magkaisa, sama-sama. Brigada Eskwela, salin na buong barkada. Brigada Eskwela, kilos na, magbayanihan na.
Ikaw ako, tayong lahat, hawak kamay, sabay-sabay, kapit-bisig, buong bayan. Tara na, kumilos na.
Tulong-tulong sa pagsulong, hatid na kalidad sa edukasyon. Sa kabataan, saya at dunong, buong madla sabay na aahon. Panahon na naman ng brigada, pabigisin lakas at diwa. Tara na, brigada na! Brigada Eskwela, magkaisa, sama-sama. Brigada Eskwela, salin na buong barkada. Brigada Eskwela, bayanihan na, magbayanihan na.
Magandang umaga sa lahat ng mga nagmamahal sa edukasyon at sa magandang kinabukasan ng ating mga kabataang Pilipino. Sa araw na ito ay sisimulan natin ang taunang gawain sa paghahanda ng mga dapat na isalang-alang ng mga paaralan para maging handa sa pagbubukas ng klase. Ang Brigada Eskwela ay isang programa ng kagawaran ng edukasyon na naglalayong maiayos at maihanda ang lahat ng bagay sa loob at sa labas man ng mga silid-aralan sa tulong at pakikisa ng mga kaibigan, taga-suporta, partners at iba pang stakeholders nang sa ganoon maging handa ang mga paaralan sa pagsisimula, pagbubukas ng klase sa taong panuruang 2021-2022. Ang Brigada Eskwela sa taong ito ay nakasentro sa timang bayanihan para sa paaralan na naglalayong gitpang mapatatag ang ugnayang pagtutulungan ng mga paaralan at ng mga taga-suporta para masiguro na makakamit ng ating mga kabataan ang dekalidad o ang mataas na antas ng edukasyon sa kabila na nariyan ang banta ng COVID-19 o pandemya. Kasama rin sa bibigyan diin sa pagsasagawa ng Brigada Eskwela sa taong ito ang maramdaman at makita ang pagtutulungan para sa ligtas na pamumuhay at mabigyang tugon ang anumang social issues and concerns ng mga paaralan, mga tahanan at pamayanan. Mga kaibigan, tara, simulan na natin ang bayanihan, ang Brigada Eskwela para sa mga paaralan. To start with, mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Sa
pause for silence for the prayer, and right after, this will be followed by the division hymn.
Ama naming sumasalangit, Panginoong may lalang sa langit at lupa, aming ipinagbubuni ang iyong kadakilaan. Kami ay nagpapasalamat sa panibagong araw na ipinagkaloob mo sa amin. Maraming salamat sa iyong walang humpay na pagmamahal. Ikinalulugod namin ang iyong pag-akay bilang isang bansa sa krisis na aming nararanasan. Kami ay lumalapit sa iyong kadakilaan. Itinataas namin sa iyong pangalan ang mga namumuno sa aming kagawaran. Ipagkaloob mo sa kanila ang katatagan para sa mga desisyong nakaatang sa kanilang mga balikat. Gabayan mo ang kanilang mga hakbang sa pagsulong ng edukasyon sa bansa. Hinihiling namin na iyong ipadama ang pagdamay, pagkalinga at proteksyon sa aming mga guro, mag-aaral at mga magulang, anuman ang kanilang pinagdadaanan. Patnubayan mo ang lahat ng mga guro sa pagpapatuloy ng kanilang paglilingkod sa bayan. Idinadalangin namin ang mga opisyal ng national government, mga lingkod bayan ng local government units, hanggang sa mga opisyal ng barangay. Biyayaan mo rin ng lakas at tibay, araw-araw, ang mga medical frontliners, media partners, at iba pang kasangga namin sa pribadong sektor. Ngayong araw na ito, inilalapit at idinudulog namin sa iyo ang aming Brigada Eskwela. Naway, kasihan niyo ang aming programa at sa pagbubukas ng taong panuruan 2021 hanggang 2022. Ipinagkakatiwala namin sa iyong mga kamay ang walang hanggang paggabay sa aming pagtahak tungo sa maliwanag na bukas. Naniniwala kami na aming malalagpasan ang lahat ng pagsubok sa pamamagitan ng iyong kapangyarihan. Amen.
gentlemen, let us welcome the School Governance Operation Division Chief, Mr. Noe Hermosilla, as he welcomes us to this activity.
Bayanihan na, magbayanihan na.
Sa bugos nga pamilya san DepEd dinhi sa Norte San Samar nga pinamumunuan sa naton Superintendent Dr. Gargunio Diaz Jr. ug sa nga tanan nga amon mga kabulig pagpauswag san pag-aradman sa naton mga kabataan ug mga estudyante maupay nga aga sa aton nga tanan. We all know that DepEd is steadfast in its mandate to serve the learners no matter what the situation and circumstances are. This is anchored in the principle that education has to continue amidst crisis. Because of this, the government is doing its part to support schools at least by achieving the minimum standards. However, it seems that resources, no matter how supportive the government is, are scarce and schools are still wanting, if only to give the learners relevant opportunities and conducive learning environment. Thus, we look for partners, and good enough that some partners are looking for us just so they could generously share what they have for our future leaders. This is the spirit of sharing, and partnership is the name of the game. Pagtutulungan ang isa sa mga pinaka-natatanging pagkakakilanlan ng mga Pilipino, kung kaya't ang pagtitipong ito ay mas pinalalim sa temang bayanihan para sa paaralan. Today, this morning, is a blessing-filled moment for DepEd Northern Samar. We are here to hold the 2022 Brigada Eskwela Kickoff, being hosted by the friendly people of Pambuhan. As clearly stipulated in the guidelines, the focus of this year's Brigada Eskwela activities is to strengthen partnership engagements that complements DepEd's efforts to ensure quality basic education amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. A Brigada Pagbasa as a form of Brigada Eskwela will also be conducted as one of the highlights in the implementation to promote literacy and numeracy through the help of our partners and volunteers. Sanglit, sini nga panahon san pandemya, magburublig kita, pagsuporta para sa talwas nga panlawas ngan may nuswagon nga pag-aradman. Tara na, magbrigada kita.
Thank you so much, Sir Noe Hermosilla, for the welcome message. To present this year's Brigada Eskwela guidelines, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Mr. Rodel Lutao, the Division Brigada Eskwela Coordinator.
Bayanihan na, magbayanihan na.
This year's Brigada Eskwela will focus on collaboration and strengthening partnership engagement that complement DepEd efforts to implement the basic education learning continuity plan and to ensure the delivery of quality basic education notwithstanding the COVID-19 pandemic. Bayanihan para sa paaralan is the theme for this year to emphasize the country's collaborative efforts in promoting collaboration for safe living and addressing social issues and concerns in schools, at homes, and in the community. There are a lot of changes that happen in the implementation of Brigada Eskwela, from the traditional schools maintenance, where teachers and stakeholders are busy just to ensure the smooth opening of classes. Sa taong ito ay palalakasin natin ang pakikipagtulungan, pakikipagkasundo at pag-iingat sa sakit na COVID-19 at higit sa lahat ang pagbabayanihan upang ang lahat ng mga mag-aaral ay makababasa. Nais po nating ipaalala sa ating mga punong guro at mga tagapamahala ng mga paaralan na sa taong ding ito ay paigtingin natin ang pakikipagtulungan upang ma-disinfect at maisaayos ang mga kagamitan ng paaralan para sa inyong mga modules, worksheets at iba pang mga kagamitan. Pagtuunan din po natin ng pansin ang mga kagamitang pangkalusugan gaya ng mga hygiene kit, gamot, vitamins, face mask, face shield, alcohol at marami pang iba. At dahil po sa nagdaang school year ay meron pong mga kaso ng pagpapakamatay sa ating mga estudyante. Kaya hinikayat din po natin ang mga tagapamahala ng mga paaralan na magsagawa din po tayo ng psychological first aid at psychological debriefing sa pakikipagtulungan ng ating mga partner stakeholders bilang bahagi ng Brigada Eskwela. Magsagawa din po tayo ng mga orientation sa ating mga parents tungkol sa BELCP at ang iba pang pamamaraan ng pagtuturo sa panahon ng pandemya. Ipakilala po natin sa kanila ang RBI, TV-based instruction, online, Google Classroom at iba pang mga modalities. Makipag-ugnayan din po tayo sa social mobilization section sa pamamagitan ng Youth Formation Program sa posibleng implementasyon ng gulayan sa tahanan o gulayan sa komunidad. Pagtuunan din po natin ng pansin ang mga gawaing School Disaster Risk Reduction Management upang maihanda ang ating paaralan at mga mag-aaral sa anumang panganib na darating. Ang SBM wins at higit sa lahat, i-realign po natin ang Brigada Pagbasa sa inyong Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan. Meron din pong iminumungkahi ang ating kagawaran na magkaroon ng mga home learning space sa bawat tahanan o dili kaya'y magkaroon ng home reading nook sa tahanan ng ating mga mag-aaral. Kami rin po ay nakikiusap na sana po ay document nyo ang lahat ng donations and other generated resources sa DPDS. Pinapaalala po natin sa lahat na huwag po tayong tatanggap ng donations mula sa tobacco industry players at ipinagbabawal din po sa Brigada Eskwela ang partisan politics. Mag-ingat po tayo mga kapamilya. Magandang balita po para sa lahat. Maliban po sa Best Brigada Implementing Award sa taong ito, meron na po tayong Best School Community Home Partnership Award, Best Home Learning Space Award, Best Partnership Engagement Activity, Best Brigada Eskwela Collaboration, and Most Prepared School. Ang inyo pong social mobilization and networking section ay inyo pong magiging kaagapay sa lahat ng panahon, lalong-lalo na po sa resource generation at partnership engagement and negotiation. Mabuhay po kayong lahat! Tara na! Magbayanihan na!
Bayanihan na, magbayanihan na.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rodel Lutao, for that guidelines which you have presented as we have now the Brigada Eskwela. And now, let us see, witness a video presentation for the different Brigada activities. Bayanihan na, magbayanihan na.
Isang magandang araw, DepEd Northern Samar at sa ating mga tagapanood. Lalong-lalo na sa ating butihing Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Gorgonio G. Diaz Jr., sa ating Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Krista Joy Abogaji Torbila, sa ating Chief ng SGOD, Sir Noe M. Hermosilla, at sa Chief ng Curriculum Implementation Division, Sir Alex Birihuso. Today we are joined by our Education Program Supervisor for Schools Governance and Operations Division, Dr. Elna Dapulag Enano. Magandang araw, ma'am.
Good morning, Peter. And good morning, everyone. Lalong-lalo na sa ating butihing Schools Division Superintendent, Sir Dondon, Ma'am Joy, Sir Alex, and of course, our very own SGOD Chief, Sir Noe. Sa atin pong lahat, lalong-lalo na po sa ating mga stakeholders in the field, magandang araw.
Yes, pag-uusapan natin ngayong araw na ito ang tungkol sa DepEd Adopt a School Program. Ito ay bahagi ng ating division kick-off ng 2021 Brigada Eskwela. Okay.
O, di ba, Peter? Para maiba naman, so ito yung modality na napili namin. Because we don't settle for less. Kaya, kaming dalawa ni Peter, i-discuss po namin ngayon yung nitty-gritty ng tinatawag nating Adopt a School Program.
Yes, through a talk show. Yan, para maiba naman. So, kumusta po kayo, Ma'am Elna?
I'm okay. Peter, ba't ang pogi-pogi mo ngayon?
Ay, syempre, pinaghandaan ko kasi ito. Kasi ipapanood ito, isi-show ito sa ating Facebook page. Kaya dapat medyo prepared naman tayo for this day. Ikaw, ma'am, why are you wearing green? What's special with the color green today?
Okay. Actually, this is my first time na to wear this color, yung green. Hindi ko kasi ito favorite color. Pero kasi we will be encouraging partners, stakeholders. Kaya ang sinuot ko ngayon ay green. Kasi sabi nila, ang green color daw ay lucky color ng mga businessmen. Kaya baka naman tayo ng maraming partners dahil sa kulay na to, di ba?
Yes. So baka naman sa ating mga stakeholders dyan, makapag-ink tayo ng contracts with DepEd Northern Samar.
That's it.
That's the meaning of the color green ngayon ni Ma'am Elna. So ma'am, saan po ba nakalodge o sino po bang proponent ng program na ito na Adapt a School program? What functional division or unit ng SDO?
Okay. To answer that question, gusto ko lang munang i-highlight na yung DepEd Division of not just Division of Northern Samar, but it is actually true sa lahat ng divisions nationwide under DepEd. Now, we have 3 functional divisions. Ito yung tinatawag na Curriculum Implementation Division, Schools Governance and Operations Division, and the OSDS or Office of the Schools Division Superintendent. So, sa tatlong functional divisions na yan, ang Adopt a School program ay nakalodge po sa Schools Governance and Operations Division under the leadership of Sir Noe Hermosilia, particularly sa ating Social, Mobilization, and Networking Unit na kung saan po ang ating pong
Senior Education
SEPS doon, Senior Education Program Specialist ay si Sir Rodel Lutaw, and yung EPS2 po natin ay si Sir Davey Aplan.
Yan, sila rin po ang program owner ng ating 2021 Brigada Eskwela Kick-Off ngayon.
Yes.
Ma'am Elna, ano po ba itong tinatawag na DepEd Adapt a School program?
Okay. As the term suggests, yung Adopt a School program is actually adopting a certain school through in a form of donations or whatever. Kasi po, yung school natin ngayon, yung ating pong mga schools, ang DepEd, ay may tinatawag na tayo na school-based management. Yung school-based management, naka-anchor po ito sa principle ng shared governance. So, ibig sabihin, wala pong school na nag-i-exist only because of teachers. Ang sabi pa nga, it takes a village to educate a child. Di po ba, Peter? So, yun talaga ang basic principle underlying the Adopt a School program. Siyempre, yung ating pong pinupuntirya dito ay ang makahanap po tayo ng maraming partners so that eventually ay maka-forge tayo ng partnership with them through in a form of a MOA or Memorandum of Understanding or any undertaking, partnership undertaking.
Okay po, ma'am. So, what forms of assistance kaya can be provided to schools sa ating Adapt a School program na ito, ma'am?
Okay. Actually, marami. Kasi yung end goal naman natin is to support the noble goal of educating all Filipinos so that nobody will be left behind. Yun. So, marami pong iba't ibang forma, iba't ibang mukha. Pwede pong in a form of learning support na tinatawag.
Yes, ma'am.
Katulad po ng pagbibigay ng mga audio, visual, educational materials.
Yan, marami tayo dyan dito, ma'am, di ba sa DepEd?
Nung teacher ka pa, Peter, ano ba yung mga usual na mga binibigay ng ating mga donors?
Ma'am, usually mga reading materials, yun po, kasi sa pagbasa ng ating mga kabataan, usually mga sa DRRM, pwede rin po yun. Sa technology, pero lalong-lalo dito sa learning support, yan, mga educational films, school supplies, lalong-lalo na po ang school supplies.
Okay.
Marami po
And
yan.
also, on the aspect of health and nutrition, although meron tayong institutionalized po sa ating mga schools ang tinatawag natin na feeding program. Meron tayong feeding program na talagang in existence for several years, for so long a time. Pero hindi po ito nagbabawal na kung sino man po yung mga private entities na gustong magbigay ng donation in a form of a feeding program, ay pwede po.
Ayun. So clear po sa atin yun. Lalo-lalo na dito sa health and nutrition support ng ating mga partners.
Yes.
Sa pag-implement natin ng Adapt a School program.
And then, reading program, pwede din.
Ayan, yung reading
Pero
program.
ngayon kasi hindi tayo face-to-face. So, kung may gustong mag-donate ng maraming, bond papers, pero meron naman tayong allocation
Yes,
dyan.
po.
Cellphone, siguro, yung mga ganon, kahit anong gadgets or technology.
Yes.
Kahit anong gadgets na pwedeng makatulong kasi yung modality natin ay talagang gagamit tayo ng technology.
Ng technology or syempre modular distance learning din namin ginagamit natin. Pero may mga schools din po tayo na gumagamit din ng technology. Na aabot ng magandang signal or may magandang technology sa kanila.
Yes. And also, meron din tayong training development. Hindi naman porket hindi na tayo nagka-conduct we are not allowed to conduct face-to-face trainings. Of course, in some instances, ina-allow naman tayo as long as yung training na kinakonduct natin is approved by IETF ng concerned municipality kung saan ika-conduct ang training, ay okay yun. So, pwede in this trying time, pwede din yung training program. So, for example, meron tayong partners na magdo-donate ng training program. Lahat, sagot nila. Speakers, yung expense, lahat na training, yung budget for training, pwede yun.
Yes. Marami tayong mga service providers dyan, ma'am.
Yes.
Di ba, sa training and development. Ayun. What about, ma'am, yung direct assistance and assistive learning devices for students with special needs?
Pwede din yon. Yung mga ganyang sitwasyon, usually, ang binibigay natin ay financial assistance. Yun.
Okay. And who can be an Adopt a School program partner? Sino po bang pwede nating maging partner para sa programang ito, ma'am?
Yes. Actually, generally, anyone. Any private individual, juridical, or individual, kahit sino. Juridical entity, private entity, pwede. But then it's not absolute. Kasi meron din tayong syempreng restrictions. Katulad po ng ordinary donation, sana we must ensure rather na yung source po ng ating donation ay galing po sa matatawag natin na good source, yung hindi galing sa drugs or ano pa mang pamamaraan na hindi maganda.
Okay. So, ano kayang mga benefits naman of being an Adopt a School program partner?
Okay. Ang Adopt a School program, hindi lang po ito magbibigay ng benepisyo or hindi lang po ito advantageous doon sa donor. Two-way po ito. So, since it is partnership, ang DepEd po ay syempre yung benepisyo na we can make use of the donation. Diba? Yung ating pong mga estudyante, example, yung binigay building, magagamit natin yun sa pag-aaral ng ating mga estudyante. Just in case we will be allowed again to have face-to-face learning interaction. But on the part of the donors, hindi rin naman nila kawalan ito. So, pag magbibigay sila, it's not just because of altruism. Na yung feeling yung good feeling na nararamdaman mo na you're happy because you were able to give something, di ba? And it's for a noble cause. Hindi lang yon. So, ang programa na to ay, sabi ko nga kanina, institutionalized. Ang DepEd ay in this program, it is embedded na meron tayong tinatawag na tax incentive privilege na binibigay doon sa ating donors or would-be donors, private or juridical entities. umaabot ito sa 150% actually. But I won't be elaborating kung ano po yung detalye kasi sa pagkakaalam ko, meron talagang exclusive exclusive explanation or session na binigay yung ating pong proponent ng Brigada Eskwela, sila Sir Rodel, doon sa sa representative natin from the Bureau of Internal Revenue ng ating province. So, pag-uusapan po kung ano talaga yung detalye ng tax incentive privilege at na mabibigay doon sa ating pong mga donors.
Okay, Ma'am Elna, so you've mentioned earlier about tax incentives. Ano nga ba itong tax incentives na ito? And what are the requirements needed by the Revenue District Office of the Bureau of Internal Revenue or ang ating BIR in considering the application of the private entity for this tax incentive na ito?
Okay. Ang tax incentive na tinatawag, Peter, it is actually an entitlement na binibigay natin doon sa ating mga partners or donors, na kung saan ay it is actually a consequence of the donation na binigay nila sa DepEd. So it is actually up to 150% yung tax incentive na binibigay in the form of exemption doon sa tax liability nila. But then we won't be dwelling so much on it as to its details kasi as mentioned kanina, it will be discussed actually by a representative from the Bureau of Internal Revenue ng ating province.
Okay. Pag meron na tayong mga napiling beneficiaries or donors, or I mean mga donors na magdo-donate for our beneficiaries, or schools na mga recipient.
Yes, but actually, para maengganyo sila, it's very simple.
Yes.
Ganun lang yan. Pag nagbigay sila ng donation, ay bibigyan sila ng tax incentive in a form of exemption. So kung may tax liability ka na ganito, example, may tax liability ka na 1 million, entitled ka to 150 exemption doon sa amount, nakarely siya doon, depende doon sa amount of donation na binigay mo. So kung nagbigay ka ng 100 pesos, 150%
ng dinonate.
What, ganon.
Okay.
But mas maganda kung marinig natin mismo from the BIR.
Yes, the BIR. At least may pasilip tayo for those who would like to donate, na meron talagang tax incentive na marireceive kayo. And this is nasa batas to, di ba, ma'am?
Yes, instead of paying directly to the government, parang dinivert mo lang ng konti. It is as if hitting two birds with one stone.
Yes.
Yung imbes na magbabayad ako directly sa BIR ng aking tax liabilities, idadaan ko sa DepEd. Tapos, i-claim ko na lang yon na tax exemption during the time na magbabayad na ako ng ating tax liabilities.
Ayun. Pero sabi pa natin, ma'am, mas may-expound itong ganitong proseso na ito once we invite someone from the BIR.
Yeah, because we are actually the authorities as to
po.
this particular matter.
Ayan. At dito naman tayo, ma'am, sa mga donations coming from the overseas. Siyempre, meron tayo niyan dito sa Northern Samar. May mga gusto mag-donate na nasa ibang bansa. And what are the documents naman required to avail of this duty-free entry of goods? Or para hindi sila ma-charge ng tinatawag natin siguro custom charges na ito, ma'am?
Or duties.
Or duties.
Oo. Siyempre, pag may importation, yung may mga goods na papasok sa country, ay tina-charge usually. Pero, dito sa program na to, duty-free ito as long as the donor is able to provide the required documents katulad ng bill of lading or airway bill, yung parcel notice.
Yun.
Ang parcel notice na medyo napapangiti ka, Peter. Alam ko na kung anong iniisip mo. Iniisip mo yung mga parcel na dumadating sa'yo.
Yes,
From saan nga yun? From
Lazada, Shopee. Ayun. Segue lang muna tayo dyan.
Yan. So, ganun yun. Yung mga other shipping documents to prove na, that would prove rather, na may pinadala.
Ayun, yes.
So, yun lang naman ang ipoprovide para mabigyan ng certification from DepEd and from the Department of Finance na duty-free
Yes,
yung
yung goods
or items na papasok
Yes.
dito sa bansa.
Ayan, ma'am, may mga nanonood kasi sa atin ngayon. Baka may nanonood sa atin ngayon through FB Live, yung mga nasa ibang bansa. Yun, this is your opportunity if you want to donate. Yan po ang ating proseso. Or yan po ang hindi kayo ma-charge ng custom charges
Or taxes.
Pag ganyan po ang ginawa natin. Okay, ma'am. So, from the donee naman, ano kaya yung mga documents required?
Siyempre, yung notarized deed of donation or notarized memorandum of understanding o kung anong, depende sa kung anong klaseng undertaking,
Okay.
enter into by the two parties.
So, ma'am, punta naman tayo ngayon sa procedures for participation in the Adapt a School program. So, baka mag-ask po yung mga viewers natin o nasa field kung qualified ba sila na maging recipient. So, how will the recipient schools be selected in this kind of program na meron tayo sa Department of Education?
Okay. Generally, the adapting private entity has the prerogative kung saan o sino or anong school ang magiging recipient ng donation niya. But historically, napapansin natin na usually yung mga donors, ino-opt nila na bigyan yung mga schools kung saan doon sila graduate. In other words, yung mga alma mater nila, doon usually nila binubuhos yung suporta. So yun. Just like in Gamay, meron tayong isang
Couple.
donor, isang couple, na after a typhoon, hindi ko lang ma-remember kung anong typhoon, but then nagbigay sila ng napakalaking amount, halaga, para i-restore yung isang school facilities natin doon. Isa sa one of our school facilities na restore nila at talagang napakalaking halagang binigay. But the wife actually was a student of that school before.
Okay, so alumna pala siya ng nasabing school. Yun. Kaya may heart pala talaga siya na mag-donate.
But just in case they don't have any idea or any school in mind, pwede natin silang tulungan kasi meron tayong tinatawag na DAPA School Secretariat.
Ayun.
Yan. Kung saan meron silang shortlisting,
So registry
of schools na kung saan yung mga schools na yun, ayun lang yung entitled schools na maging recipient ng kung anumang
donation.
Ng any donation. So, usually, yung mga schools na yun they belong to for municipalities, far-flung barangays, yung mga ganon, yung mga malalayo, na masasabi natin they really need help.
Okay po, sige ma'am. So, after that we have selected recipient schools, punta naman tayo ma'am sa adoption process. What are the next steps po?
Okay. So, presumably, na-identify na natin kung sino ang donors at kung saan yung school na pagdadala ng donation, yung recipient natin. We will be entering into a memorandum of agreement. Usually, yun yung proseso.
Yung tinatawag nating MOA.
Yeah, MOA signing, MOA concluding, yung ganyan-ganyan. So, maraming activities na tayong ginawa na involving MOA signing. So, dapat during MOA signing, nandoon yung proper parties.
Okay.
Okay. Yung donor, dapat authorized siya to represent the organization or the entity. On the part naman ng school, yung ating schools division superintendent, siya talaga yung authorized representative ng DepEd.
Pero nandun din po yung concerned school.
Of course.
Present.
Yes. Yes. Just in case gusto niyang i-delegate or he would choose a representative to represent the office, I think it may be done, but then there has to be an authority to represent.
Ayun po. Sa execution po talaga kasi ng official document, nandun po yung Schools Division Superintendent, tama ma'am, as the official signatory
Yes.
coming from the Department of Education. Ayun. Okay. And dito naman tayo ma'am sa MOA. How long does the MOA last or yung duration ng ating memorandum of agreement?
Okay. Minimum of 2 years. So, usually, yung mga MOA na ini-enter natin with the Department of Education, particularly DepEd Division of Northern Samar, 2-year term yan, usually. Pero, after the 2-year term, ay pwede namang i-renew. Pwede namang i-renew. In fact, marami tayong mga stakeholders na nire-re-entry lang natin. Just to name a few, City Savings Bank.
Yes.
Yes.
Ang active partner natin. Yes, yun.
Sheriff Falcones, di ba? Yan yung mga constant donors, partners natin. Sila, lagi nandyan. And we keep in re-entering the MOA. In fact, we have a registry of donors sa ating division at we actually have a system.
Yun.
Yung DPDS.
Yan yung DPDS. Yan, na-mention niya ng ating SOCMO partners, yung
Yan
DPDS.
yung portal, ano?
Yes, yung portal.
Yeah, kung saan, yung ating pong mga schools, ay whenever there is a donation, ini-enter nila doon ang details,
Yes.
data, lahat, and then, matitrace natin yan dito sa division office. Kasi merong access yung SOCMO natin. Merong access. And any donation, actually yung mga schools natin, they're actually active, very vigilant when it comes to forging partnership. Kasi meron tayong competition. Ito nga, katulad nga ngayon.
Yes.
After this kick-off, ay magiging active na naman yung ating mga internal stakeholders, yung ating mga school heads. Kasi kailangan dumami ng dumami yung magbibigay at makokollate nila. Kasi later on, sila ang hihiranging most outstanding
Brigada Eskwela implementing school.
Yeah, ganon. So, ganon yun. So, na-mention during the DEMIA na pag hindi nila in-enter doon sa system yung mga donation ay there's no issuance yet from the Schools Division Superintendent, pero dapat lang na ipasok talaga sa system.
Dapat na-account lahat po para ma-recognize din naman ng Schools Division yung mga schools na talaga naman nag-perform well during the Brigada Eskwela dahil may mga donors or partners sila.
And on the part also of our donors, on the part of the stakeholders, ay masasabi din nila na it's worth naman talaga na mag-donate sa DepEd kasi nag-o-observe sila ng principle of transparency.
Correct po, yan.
So, hindi napupunta sa wala. Lahat is accounted. Whatever donation that you may give to DepEd, lahat accounted yan kasi may system tayo.
Yes po. Ngayon, meron tayong DepEd Adapt a School Program or ASP Partners Identification Question List. So ano nga ba itong identification question list na ito, ma'am? Una ay,
what is the nature of the business of the organization?
Pangalawa dyan ay, what are its priorities or causes it supports? Pangatlo ay,
what is the expertise of this business or organization that can support the required areas?
andun din po sa mga question ay, is it already a partner of other educational institutions?
Are they already involved in any community or school activities?
How do these potential partners interact with the community?
Do they have previous or current issues within or outside the community?
Who to approach also?
Is there anyone in charge of the organization's communications, or do you have a connection inside the organization?
What are the capacities of the organization?
Are they stable and financially healthy, or are they now in some form of restructuring or recovering?
Okay, so in identifying potential partners, it is important that we analyze the key actors or stakeholders that you intend to partner with. In analyzing the stakeholders, we need to determine their influence, how they can contribute, and find out if there are barriers for effective partnership, and provide the strategies or solutions that they can engage with the Department of Education.
Yan.
So ayan, sa ating mga tagapanood, thank you so much Ma'am Elna Dapulag-Enano for sharing your expertise, your knowledge, your time with us to discuss the DepEd Adapt a School program. So any concluding message, ma'am?
Thank you, Peter. And it is always a pleasure on my part to be of service to our beloved DepEd Northern Samar.
Kaya Ma'am Elna, tara na! Brigada Eskwela na! Hanggang sa muli!
Us to know about this Brigada Eskwela, more on the incentives of tax, let us listen to this presentation of how the computation of the 150% tax incentive given to the Department of Education partners under Adapt a School program.
Bayanihan na, magbayanihan na.
Good morning, Nortihanons. I am Susana Digolo, the Assistant Revenue District Officer of BIR Revenue District number 85. We encourage our business community of Northern Samar to support the DepEd program, the Adapt a School Act of 1998 under Republic Act 8525. You can avail the tax incentives provisions per Revenue Regulations 10-2003 dated January 27, 2003. Per Section 3, tax incentives accruing to adopting private entity which enters into agreement with public school shall be entitled to deduction from your gross income. The entire amount donated plus 50% of the said amount donated. For more detailed explanation, you can visit to our office anytime. Thank you and God bless.
And for us to be entertained, let us witness a presentation of a festival dance.
Generation after generations of Pambuhanons could attest that since time immemorial, the municipality has been deeply rooted with its rich culture of courage and in solid values of thriving and pursuing despite the uncertainties of time and intricacies of life itself. The municipality of Pambuhan is a fourth-class municipality in the province of Northern Samar, Philippines. According to the 2020 census, it has a population of 35,532 people. It is a coastal town with an area of 18,650 hectares. It is a town with notable qualities and resources. It boasts a 16th century Roman Catholic church, a scenic islet named Kauhagan, baseball players who won international tournaments, professionals and achievers, a socio-cultural activity held every first full moon of the year known as Kadayaw Festival, and a sports arena which has been the venue for various municipal, provincial, and regional sports gatherings.
Tales of triumphs against adversity are immortalized and manifested in activities that weave around Kadayaw Festival, a true beacon of innate good virtues and a synergy of hard work and diligence, and the crowning jewel of the town's cultural heritage. There is more to Kadayaw than the incessant thanksgiving to blessings of the year, tales of survival in might and grandeur, for it depicts the power of cooperation and unity that contribute to the betterment of the community and other large-scale improvements. Hence, bayanihan or pagburublig sa komunidad has cemented its endeavor to bring about positive and lasting changes that ripple all throughout the nation. Bayanihan is one of the core essences of the Filipino culture where the concept of Brigada Eskwela has embedded. This communal unity is anchored on the Filipino spirit of helping one another as a community and achieving a certain task without expecting or asking for anything in return.
Brigada Eskwela is a program of DepEd that aims to address resource gaps faced in schools through strengthening partnerships with the local educational stakeholders. The program mobilizes and brings together parents, alumni, civic groups, local businesses, non-government organizations, teachers, students, and individuals who offer their time and skills to do classroom repairs, maintenance work, and clean up of public elementary and secondary schools. Volunteerism in its purest form. That's what Brigada Eskwela is. Despite the challenge of the new landscape of education that was brought by the COVID-19 pandemic, the safe practice or the observance of maximum health protocols of this program is essential to the school heads, teachers, and learners, or to the school community, as it saves and provides resources on the part of the school. The unrelenting support and effort of various stakeholders resulted into an improved school's facilities and preparation for the opening of classes and towards a better learning environment once face-to-face classes will be allowed. But the posing threat of the pandemic won't stop the altruistic heart of the people to effectuate improvement.
Through this initiative, the importance of the community is recognized and making schools the best place for learners to acquire values and competencies needed to contribute to nation building. Clean classrooms, well-maintained learning tools, and attractive landscaping inspire students to attend school, study hard, and persevere to achieve their goals, which we cannot discount the effect of the environment in the educative process.
The government, which provides free education for the Filipino youth, the community where they grow, and the private firms will eventually employ them, are all stakeholders of education. Their cooperation is significant to the success of every student's education. True enough, it takes a village to educate a child and a bayanihan sa paaralan to prepare one's ticket for a better future. Just like the festivities that Cadayo brings, Brigada Eskwela sheds its full light to its clientele.
Let us welcome Mrs. Sylvia D. Villanueva, Education Program Supervisor, as she discuss the Brigada Eskwela Pagbasa.
Bayanihan na, magbayanihan.